I went to Walmart and Amazon to find the cheapest bass fishing kits I could find. Now, I found a bunch of them for $10. We're going to go through each one today and see if it's worth the money or if it's a scam. So let's get right into it. All right, so first up was this kit from Walmart.com. So they didn't sell this in the store, and they did have hooks when I bought them. But I'm going to tell you right now, these are the worst fishing lures I have ever bought. So this kit was $10, like I said, and it came with a popper, one of these little, I believe they're called pencil somethings. I don't know, it's a topwater bait. Came with a jerk bait, this lipless crankbait, and this little small crankbait. So why am I saying these things are terrible? Well, a few reasons. First of all, they do not glow bright and they do not glow for very long. If you sit there and charge it with a big spotlight, it'll glow for maybe 2 minutes, which is just enough to get to a couple casts, and then you're sitting there recharging it with a flashlight. They are not very bright. The second thing is, half of these baits do not work at all. The only ones that I found that actually performed fairly well as far as the action goes is the small crankbait and then this jerkbait. This one, this lipless crankbait, doesn't even sink. It floats on the top of the water and just has this like very straight motion. It has no action whatsoever. The top waters are very lackluster for topwater baits, and to be honest with you, these are garbage. So the reason I actually took the hooks off is so that I can use the hooks to make my own homemade baits, and instead I'm going to use these to make a cradle toy for my baby. You know, little things that hang and spin and got the little things or whatever. Well, I figure some little glow-in-the-dark fishing lures be pretty cool. So that's the only reason this isn't in the trash right now, and I salvaged the hooks. So yeah, I would give this thing a 1 out of 5 stars only because I can use the hooks, I guess, and they'll be used as a baby toy. But if you're looking for fishing lures, do not get this kit. It is terrible. The lures don't work, they don't glow long, and there's a very low quality. All right, next up is a $10 fishing kit from Amazon. Now, this one didn't specifically say bass fishing kit, but a lot of these lures can be used for bass, and I really couldn't find a much cheaper deal for a little fishing kit, so this is what I went with. Already, this is way better than the last kit, and I'm going to tell you a few reasons why. So first of all, you've got this little lipless crankbait, which works. You've got a jerkbait that I like the coloration on, and it works. And then you got a little, I believe they're called blade baits, a little blade bait. I've never done really well using these, but I know some people that have. You've also got 4 different kinds of inline spinners. Now, they each have this very cheap sticker, like holographic sticker, but honestly, even without that sticker, they'll still work, and you're getting 4 of them. So already, I'm thinking this is a way better deal. You've also got this frog right here, which I've never seen frogs like this, but it's got like the hook kind of built. Wait a second. Where do you tie the line? Oh, okay, there. Wait a second, that's backwards. Okay, well, that's a pretty easy fix. I guess we just take that off and flip it around. They got the frog backwards on the hook. I mean, unless you're trying to retrieve this backwards. But it is fairly squishy, and it's got the little hook. It's weedless as well, which I really like. I guess you probably would put the hook up like that, maybe, if it was flipped around. But anyways, you get a little top water. That's nice. Now onto the soft plastics. You got a little paddle tail kind of grub. Same thing, except orange. And then you have a couple curly tail grubs. You got a pink, and then you got a like neon green. Now, I usually do really well with these kinds of baits. Now, it's not going to be perfect for bass specifically, but I've caught many different types of species with these things, and they are really, really nice. You've also got some more like trout-like lures, I guess, or for like crappie. Got some little grubs, some crickets, things like that. This thing also comes with a whole bunch of swivels and split rings and other things like that. A bunch of jig heads, these little beads, and I honestly don't know what these gold things are. If somebody could tell me in the comments, I'm not sure if those are just weights. I know that they have small ones on these inline spinners, but I've personally never used them. So if one of y'all could tell me what that is in the comments, I'd be very appreciative. And then you've got some bass hooks. These are a little bit on the smaller end of the bass hooks that I usually use, but they are still decent hooks. They don't have too much bend to them. A lot of these cheaper hooks, and you'll see in a kit in a little bit, they have like a really bad bend to them, but these aren't flimsy. All in all, this is a pretty good kit. Honestly, I'm very impressed that they were able to put all this in for just $10. I mean, that's a lot of hooks, like right just between that. The one thing I will say is there are no baits that would really use one of these bass hooks right here. Like this this isn't really fitting on those lures. So they kind of just threw in these bass hooks. You're not really going to be able to use them. As a bass fishing kit, you're really only going to be using like maybe these lures over here. And these other ones are for other species. But all in all, I'd probably give it maybe a 4 stars. 4 out of 5 stars, just because it is just $10 and it's a pretty good kit. This next one is the biggest disappointment so far, and I'm going to tell you a few reasons why. So this is actually the Eagle Claw Bass Tackle Kit, and the reason this thing's a little bit dirty is because I actually took it out fishing hoping to catch something. My buddies were catching 5 or 6 fish in the time period that we were out there, and with this kit, I was not able to catch a single fish. So, what comes in it? A few different things. So, you've got some jig heads. Now keep in mind, this is sold specifically as a bass tackle kit, so it should be all bass lures. So it came with a stringer that broke the first time we used it on like 3 or 4 bass. So this already junk. I'm going to throw that out. It came with some weights. I mean, they're weights. You can't really go wrong with weights usually. You got a little rig for a like little double hook setup with a weight. That's kind of already set up for you. Again, let me show you these hooks. These hooks are not bass-sized hooks. They look bigger on camera. These things are teeny tiny. So, not a fan of that. It's not something I'd really use for bass. You get a little knockoff rattle trap. I think this is honestly one of the best lures in the box. And it's just a very, very cheaply made rattle trap knockoff. You got your regular little jig heads. Again, I mean, you can catch bass with these, but it's just a very small hook for bass fishing. And obviously, these will go with these things, which I'll go over here in a minute. Also came with some beads. Again, I have no clue what this thing is. If somebody could tell me in the comments what this is, I've got no clue. Never used them before while fishing. It also came with some little line cutters. Honestly, I just carry a pocket knife with me. I feel like this thing would just be annoying and get in the way. And then it comes with a little kit. And it's got a bunch of stuff that you could just kind of Google, like how to tie a knot, how to put a bobber on, which this thing didn't even come with a bobber. It's not even like bass specific. It's got all kinds of different stuff on it. But in all honesty, I think this just kind of wastes space in this box. So I'm not going to use that. And here we go. This is the only thing, in my opinion, that's worth anything in this box. And that is some of these soft plastics. So I really like these fat curly tail grubs. And they look really good. The action's good in the water. So I like these. I like these white pearly ones. And then they've got like these green ones, which I've always done better with white grubs. But they also do have these. So they have a few different ones. And then they have some other like bigger, actually for bass things. These two right here, I do like this color usually. One complaint that I have is this is a very tough, like, I mean, look at how little bend there is in that. Like that. They should, ideally, you want your soft plastics to bend like about that much with an ideal softness. These are just very stiff, so they have very low action in the water. So I didn't like that. The color's nice, but they only give you 2 of them. They gave another one in this color. This thing is tiny and flimsy and will fall apart so easy that you're really only going to get a couple uses out of them, if even that. And so what it felt like is it felt like they just threw a bunch of scraps in here and said, yeah, this is a good bass fishing kit. And here is the most aggravating thing in the entire kit, and that is these hooks that they give you. For anyone who has watched my channel for very long, you know that my go-to hooks for like heavy-duty like saltwater fishing are Mustad circle hooks. So I really like Mustad hooks, and this is a Mustad kit, so I figured, you know, they know what they're going to do. No. This right here, this little tiny thing, that is not a bass fishing hook. The biggest hooks they have are these right here. And let me show you real quick. Let me set these down here real quick. These are some of the flimsiest fishing hooks. Like, I'm trying to get the camera to show you. Like, that is so flimsy. That, you get hooked onto a fish, that's going to bend the hook straight. It doesn't matter how big that fish is. And then they got you some of these, which are like the better style. And again, like, I don't think you understand how easy this thing is to bend. Like, trying to show it on camera, it is like a piece of pine straw. It is terrible. These hooks are not made well. They're super flimsy, super cheap feeling, and they're too small. Like, I wouldn't be using any of these hooks for bass fishing Maybe if you're going for crappie or something like that. But for most bass, they're not going to go and stay on the hook with these very flimsy, terrible hooks. So Mustad, I gotta say, I usually like your stuff. Your laser sharp circle hooks are really good. These are garbage. I just feel like this whole kit was a waste of money. If I would have just got a pack of these and then maybe a pack of these right here, that's all I care about from this package. I mean, yeah, it's cool if they added in that little lure, but honestly, you could just get any knockoff for $1. This kit was just devastatingly bad. I mean, the stringer failed. All of this stuff is just sized for like more of a crappie or some other kind of fish. Like, you wouldn't be using most of this for bass fishing. And then the things that they gave you that are good for bass fishing, they only gave you a couple of, and they didn't even give you appropriately sized hooks to use them with. So I am over this stupid thing. I do not like this. The best value you're getting out of this purchase is the box that it came in. But now I know that some of you guys are probably going to say, oh, well, you know, it's only $10. What do you expect from a $10 bass fishing kit? Well, let me tell you, I went and spent $10 myself, and this is the little starter kit that I came up with. Now, obviously, some of these things you can change, but let's go over it. So for about $2.50, I got the 3/0 size EWG worm hooks. Again, this is Eagle Claw brand. It comes with 15 hooks. And to go with those, I got this. Now, this has always been a really good brand that I like to use. It's the Yum Dingers and the pumpkin and chartreuse. This color scheme right here has always done really well. So this was about $3. This was about $2.50. I got some weights that you could use with that. That was about $1. And then you can get some other assorted lures. So I went with this $1 spoiler shad. I've used this in a previous video. These work really well, and it's under $1. You could also get one of the cheap like buzz baits or spinner baits that Walmart sells for also $1. And then I got this crankbait, which was like $1.50 or maybe $2, something like that. But again, you could swap this out for something else. There's all kinds of different cheap lure options, but I would just get like a topwater bait maybe, and then these right here. And that is a $10 Walmart starter kit. So with this kit, you can catch bass in any kind of water conditions. You swap this out for the buzz bait, you can do your topwater fishing, you can do your fishing when they're a little bit deeper, you can fish this weightless and weedless, you can wacky rig it, you could fish it with weights, you can fish any part of the water column and catch tons of bass just using $10 worth of lures, weights, etc. And you really don't need all that other extra stuff. My biggest complaint with this kit was that, first of all, it's like they've never been bass fishing because those hooks were terrible. But the stuff that you'd want more of, it was like they just threw you little scraps. And then the stuff that you didn't need, like the swivels and this extra little rig and the paper and the stringer that was terrible, they threw in all that extra stuff just to kind of take up room, and really that's all a bunch of nonsense. So, which one would I say is the best deal? Honestly, I'm going to say, even though I picked these lures out, this Amazon kit is probably what I would go with, just because you're getting soft plastics, you're getting hard plastics, you're getting a top water, spinners, you're getting the whole thing. If you go and try to pick out your own lure kits, then you can get better stuff and more effective, but I kind of like the variety that this one has to offer. These two are just both terrible. I would never recommend getting them. This one, obviously, I handpicked it, so I'm going to be a little partial to it, but that Amazon kit actually really surprised me. If there's any other kits that you'd like me to test, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like the video. It's something you can do for free to support the channel and keep these things going. I did spend $40 on this stupid video, expecting them to be half decent, so it really does help me out if you guys just do that. It's a free way to support the channel. But anyways, guys, as always, Jesus loves you, I love you, and have a great day.